Okay guys, so today's assignment, I hope you guys had not too much of a hard time this time on this assignment, but we are going to go over the answers for Chapter 4, Lesson 1, the homework page in your practice book. So this is part 3 of Chapter 4, Lesson 1. And we're going to go over those answers today using the PowerPoint. So once again, I emailed it to you. Here's what the assignment looks like. So it will be posting today. And what you want to do is go ahead and click on the assignment. The link for the YouTube video will be right here. And then follow along, correct your answers. Don't really take notes, but correct your answers if you need to, and figure out where you went wrong. And then complete your math assignment, which is going to be something new that you've never done before. So I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's called an exit ticket, and that's through Gmail. It's through Google. So you will need to get back onto your Gmail account. Remember, pause this video as you need to, so that you can come back to it if you want to after you get all your supplies. So what you will need is your pencil, probably a sheet of notebook paper, and then your assignment, as well as you need your Gmail account up and ready to go. So if I go in, I'm going to use Mariana's once again. So let's go into Mariana's account. Okay, if you notice, I went into Chapter 4, Lesson 1, so I've emailed that to you guys. You guys can just click on this one. Okay, and this is Chapter 4, Lesson 1, Part 3. So I've already done the PowerPoint for you guys. It's all set and ready to go. I'm going to skip over, and we're going to go down into the 4th slide. This is just the stuff that we went over yesterday. It's talking about what your book's asking you. So remember that we're looking for the quotient is in between, then estimate the quotient. And then this was your homework assignment from last night. So if you didn't do it, please catch up with it and get it done. Try to do it without looking at the answers. All right, so here are the answers. So we're going to start at slide 1, which is problem 2. And it's 53 divided by 3. And that lands between 17 and 18. So it's about 18. So if you look, when we divide, right, we're going to list out the factors that we'd multiply 3 by. Okay, and then the multiples are going to be down here. Okay, and if you notice, it slides right in between here on 17 and 18. Okay, so we would say that 53 falls in between. The multiple is 17 and 18. And it's about 18 because 53 is closer to 54 than it is 51. So it's going to be about 18. Okay, for your next slide, hopefully you're catching on to these a little bit better too, and you're not having as many problems as you were in the beginning. It's a learning curve for me too, to try to teach you guys online versus having you in person. So this is new to both of us. All right, your next one is going to be 75 divided by 4. Okay, and if you look, it lands between 18 and 19, so it should have been about 19. What you had to do first was list the multiples of 4. So we get all the factors listed first that we're going to do, and we list all the multiples down below. So if you notice, 75 falls right in between here, between 18 and 19 once I list it. So between 72 and 76, that's where 75 is. So you would have written between 18 and 19, and then also about 19, because 75 is obviously closer to 76 than 72. Sometimes you might need to write a number line to figure out how close which of the numbers are, but you probably don't at this point. You guys have been doing math long enough now. 215 divided by 9 falls between 23 and 24. So it's about 24. If you're doing these big numbers, remember, once again, we're going to take the number. So I'm going to go back over how we do it. If you forgot, 215 divided by 9. Okay, now since it's such a big number, I want to find out what two numbers I can kind of get closer to. So we're going to do my multiples of 10. So 10 times 9 equals 90, right? Okay, we're close to 215, but we're not there where we want to be. How about 20 times 9 is equal to 180? Okay, so we're pretty close. So I'm going to star that one. And then let's try 30. Let's go up one more 10 amount, and that equals 270. So look, now it falls in between. 215 will fall in between 180, and 270. So we know the two numbers we're going to list multiples of are between 20 to 30. Okay, so I started listing the multiples of 9 between 20 and 30, and I noticed that I could stop right here because what happened was I went over 215, right? So once you go over that amount, you can stop because you've already found a number that it falls in between. All right, so this was 207, this was 216, so it should have been between 23 and 24. And your answer should have been about 24 because that 216 is closest to 215. Okay, so now let's move on to the next problem. If I miss a problem by some chance, guys, just let me know. I can always correct myself later. I do this and I'm going back and forth with the book, and then Ivy kind of interrupts me every so often when I'm trying to make these videos. So just let me know if I skip a problem. I can go back into it, okay? All right, so now we have our next problem. 284 divided by 5. It fell between 56 and 57. It was about 57 because it was closer. All right, so let's do this. So we take that big number again. Okay, we take that big number again and we're going to put it down on this board. So we're going to do 284, excuse me, divided by 15, right? So we want to find something, or divided by 5, not 15 yet. Okay, so we want to get something that's really close to 284. So let's look at the multiples of 5, okay, as it comes through tens. So in groups of tens, we're going to do 10 times 5 equals 50, right? We're not close yet, so we're going to keep going. 20 times 5 equals, yep, 100 if you guys said it. Okay, then we have 30 times 5. You guys remember that one? Remember, you just multiply this. If it has a 0 digit, you drop the 0. And then 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, you have 40 times 5. So remember, once again, drop the 0. 4 times 5 is 20. So that's 200. So we're close. We're almost there. Okay, let's try again. Let's go up one more. After listing these several times, you might get used to it. So 50 times 5, well, 5 times 5 is 25, and we just dropped that 0 right there. And the last bit is going to be 60 times 5, which is where we're going to see where it falls in between. So 60 times 5 is, 6 times 5 is 30, and drop that 0, and it's 300. Okay, so my 284, because remember, the problem was 284 divided by 5. 284 falls right in between 50 and 60. So we're going to need to list all the multiples of 5 between 50 to 60. All right, so I set up my chart just like this. Okay, and if you notice, as I'm listing them, that 284 is going to fall right in between right here, between 56 and 57. Okay, but it ends up closer to the 285, so it's about 57 here. That's why our answers, so it falls 56 and 57, and then it's closest to 57. So it's about 57 there. So your answer should read like this. Next problem, 191 divided by 3. Once again, this is a pretty high number. So since it falls, your answer should have been between 63 and 64, and it was about 64. But in order to find that, I'm going to list the multiples of 3 in groups of 10, right? What I forgot to bring with me was a dry erase board eraser, so let's try this. 191 divided by 3. That was our original problem. Okay, now I'm going to take the groups of 10, multiply them by 3. So 10 times 3 is 30. Okay, 20 times 3. Remember, guys, don't get scared with multiples of 10. All you're doing is multiplying, because you have a 0 here, so you just drop it, right? We can cross it out if you like to do that. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, 30 times 3. 90. All right, so we're getting close to 191. We're not there yet, so these two are probably a no, right? 40 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. Add the 0, and that's 120. Okay, we're not close enough there. 50 times 3. Well, 5 times 3, 15, plus the 0, 150. Almost. Okay, 60 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 0, 180. Almost. All right, so I'm going to cross these out because we're getting hot, but we're not there. All right, let's try 70. I wish it was hot, right? I want to be outside already. Okay, 70 times 3 is going to be, 7 times 3 is 21. And add that 0 and it's 210. So have we went over? Yes. So our answers are going to fall in anywhere between 60 and 70. All right, so we need to list the multiples of 3 between 60 to 70. Okay. All right, so then your chart should look like this. And if you're going through it, you will see that as you list them, we keep going, and eventually we fall in between here, which is 63 and 64, right? 191 would become between 189 and 192. So if you listed that, you were correct, and then it was closest to 64. 191 is closer to 192 than 189, so it was closer to 64 there. Okay. Your next problem is going to be 100 divided by 7. Well, on this one, I just say list all these. You should already know up to 10, right, is 70. So you can even start at 10 and go up. I did the whole chart for you just so you could see it. But like I said, if you want to make time shorter, go ahead. Feel free to. You already know that you're at 70 here, so start up. And then I stopped at 15 because by the time I hit to 15, it was already 105. So I went over. So I'm just going to halt there because I know that my answer is somewhere down here. So it ended up falling between 14 and 15, right? 100 falls in between these two numbers, 98 and 105. So it's closer to 14 than it is 15. And once again, if you need to do a number line, let me show you how you would do that to figure out what the in-between number is. Okay, so let me show you how I'm doing that. In my head, I can do it. You guys are just starting off. So if you need to do this, please do it on scrap paper. What you would need to do is, let's say we have these two numbers, right? 98 and 105. In order to determine which one is closer to 100, okay, I would just write out those two numbers, 105 and 98, and I would go 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. So I'm going to make these numbers just a little bit smaller, 105, and this one's going to be 98. Okay, and so we go 99, 100. I'm going to circle the one that I'm doing, right? This is the one that I want to find out which one is closest, or which one it is closest to. Out here or out here. 102, 103, 104. Okay, so in my head, I can do this. You guys might not be able to do it in your head, and that's okay. So you might need, once you find out which two numbers it's in between, then just set them up on a number line like I did here. And feel free to go back over this if you need to. So pause the video and go back a little bit so you can see what I did. So I took 98 and 105, right? Because I know 100 falls in between those two numbers. I wrote them down and I made a number line. And I made sure that the number that is my dividend, okay, I put that where it's supposed to go and I circled it on the number line. Okay, now here I have 2 lines before I hit 100. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is closer to this guy than it is to this one, right? So that's how I decide that 14 is a better answer than 15. So it's about 14 if we're estimating. Okay, and that's it. And I can show you again as we come through another problem. All right, let's move on to the next one. Whoops, I did not want that. Okay, let's go back in regular view. Okay, your next one is going to be 438 divided by 7. Let's take this board again. So if you notice, the answer is between 62, 63, and it's about 63. So let's take 438 divided by 7. Hopefully you're getting the hang of this already. So then we're going to take 10 times 7, which is, you said 70, you're right. 20 times 7, which is 140. So remember, 2 times 7 is 14. Add the 0, you get 140. 30 times 7, 210. 40 times 7, 280. So all these guys are not anywhere near 438. Let's see what the next one is. 50 times 7, 350. We're close, but we're not there yet. Okay, how about 60 times 7? Well, 6 times 7 is 42. Add the 0, we get 420. We're close. Now we're close. So this one's going to cross out. What about 70 times 7? It's going to be 490. 438 falls in between 420 and 490. Okay, so we know that our two multiples, we're going to list numbers, multiples of 7 between 60 and 70. Okay, if they fall in. So let's go through there. Okay, so we start with 60, right? And we multiply by 7. It's going to give us 420, and we keep going. And then I noticed that once I got to 65, I had already went over 438. So somewhere in between 60 and 65, I'm going to find my answer. It fell between 62 and 63, right? 438 falls right here. Okay, so your answer, your answer should have been about 63. Okay, and I think this was the one. So let's show you on the number line again, so then you guys get used to doing this part too. And you can see how I do that. So remember, our two numbers that it falls in between on 62 and 63 is 434 and 441. So I'm going to write 434 and 441 way over here, right? Okay, so this is 434, this is 441. Now I'm going to go 435, 436, okay. So the number that I was looking for, my dividend, was 438, right? And we wanted to find out which number this one was closest to. So we have 441 over here and 434. And it's super close. It's a tight race on this one, right? So we have 1. So we're going to have to count it out. 1, 2, 3 lines before we hit 438 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4 lines before we hit 438 here. So it's actually closer to 441 than it is to 434. It's kind of tricky on this one. So I would say if you did either one, good job as the about mark. But it should have been, if you're looking for the right answer, it should have been about 63. Okay, once again, pause it if you need to see how I do that number line to determine which one is the correct answer, which one's the about answer. That's how I do it. Because some of them are really easy. They're like one number away. Others, it takes a second to really think about it. Okay, now we have 103 divided by 8. It fell between 12 and 13. So on this one, you should already know that 8 times 10 is 80. You can start at the 8 times 10 mark and move your way up. I started at the 1 and moved my way up. But like I said, you can always start at 8 times 10 and move up. Because you know that's pretty close to 103 already. Once I hit 13, I had already went over 103. So I stopped there. And I noticed that my number fell between 96 and 104. So it was about, or it was between 12 and 13. This one I don't have to do a number line on because it's 1 point away from 104, and this one's like 5. So you wouldn't have to do a number line on that one. It ends up about 13. Okay, it's closest to 13. All right, your final problem that we're checking today is 255 divided by 9. So that fell between 28 and 29, and it was about 28. So you can take 255, okay, 255, multiply it, or sorry, divide it by 9, right? And then we're going to double check. We're going to say, okay, 10 times 9, well, we know that that's 90. You guys should already know that one. Let's try 20 times 9. 180, right? So that's going to get me way closer to this number. Okay, let's try 30 times 9. 270. Up, I went over 255. So we know that our 255 falls in between 20 and 30 if we multiply it by 9. So somewhere between 20 and 30, we're going to get that. Okay, we're going to see 255 come up on that number line. So as I listed my multiples, I noticed that it came in between 28 and 29. We have 252 and 261. Okay, so if I want to find out which one it's closest to, I can take these two numbers, 252 and 261, and see where 255 is closest to. So once again, we can do a number line. Like I said, I've had a lot of practice at this, so I don't need to do a number line, but you guys can. Okay, don't feel ashamed to have to do so. So we take 252, right? 253, 254, 255, 256. I'm going to circle that 255. 257, 258, 259, 260. Ugh, takes forever sometimes, but you gotta have patience with it. 261. Okay, so here's this one over here, and here's this one over here. Let's count the lines. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. I can even just write it there so then you know. And then down here, we have 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so it would be closest to this one, right? It would be closest to the one that has 252, which is 28. So it should have been about 28. Okay, now, once again, please go through the videos if you need to and take it a little bit slower so that you can correct your answers. When you are done reviewing these, you have a mini quiz, and it's called an exit ticket. So I'm going to close out of this PowerPoint, and I'm going to show you what the exit ticket is, okay? So you would click on this, right? So I've invited you to do an exit ticket on the chapter. And what this is a mini quiz. So it's on Google Forms. So all you would do is click on fill out in Google Forms. I'm not going to do it, but this is Mariana's, so I'm not going to do it for her. But you have 2 questions on here that are similar to the ones you've been working on all week. So find the 2 numbers the quotient is in between. Then estimate the quotient. So you're going to write your work here. Now, if you prefer, yeah, let's type out your work here. Okay, just it has to come in the format between blah blah blah. Between and about. Okay, just like we've done, for instance, on the PowerPoints. So it has to come between 2 numbers and about a different number. Let me show you. You can show your work if you want to on here, but really all you need is a separate piece of paper to work it out, and then just put the answer. That's all I'm looking for on these, okay? So you're just going to need to type in your answer. And then when you're done, you're going to click submit, and it will send it right to me. Okay, and then I can go ahead and grade it. It'll be a mini quiz. So you can use your notes. I know I said in 3rd trimester I was taking away your notes, but that was considering that we were actually going to be in class together. But since we're not in class, I'm not going to require you to do something without notes. Okay, so please use notes. Help yourself out on that so you get the hang of it. An exit ticket is just a mini quiz, so I know. Now, if you're having problems on this, can you please write me a note below your answer too and tell me which parts you're having problems on? Because if I can, this weekend I'll make extra tutorials for you guys, but these take a long time already. So please let me know if you have any questions. Do your exit ticket, and then once you do that, do not worry about submitting any work. You don't have to submit anything other than click submit here. It will show that you never did the assignment on Edmodo. So Edmodo is not going to tell you that you completed it. Okay, it will still show as incomplete. I will, however, put a grade in for you anyway that shows that you submitted this exit ticket with the grade. Okay, so that's all you need to do is submit your exit ticket to me. I will grade it on Google Docs, and I will put it back into Edmodo so you can see what you got. Okay, so don't worry about your assignment posting as late or anything. It's going to show up like that. Just click on it, get through it, and then do the exit ticket, and you will be fine. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye.